Hello, my name is Michael Lavin. I am Director of Collections and Conservation for Jamestown Rediscovery. And today we're going to talk about firearms and their presence at Jamestown. And in particular, we're going to talk about this very unique Roman lock pistol that was found at the bottom of a well that was sealed by Governor Argyll's house in 1616. And we think that that well was the second well, and it was dug by the colonists in 1611. So we have a nice tight window for the dating of this particular pistol. And then how does this fit in with the other things that we are finding at Jamestown? So, as everyone knows, Jamestown was a for-profit adventure by the Virginia Company, and they supplied a lot of the arms and armor to the lower status folks that were here at Jamestown. And a lot of these items were outdated and also kind of reaching the end of their life. So with firearms, we see a lot of utilitarian matchlocks, some with a sear lever trigger, and some of them have an actual trigger that you would have pulled. We also have recovered wheel locks, snap-haunces, and Roman lock. So that is very unique. These are higher status items that would have been associated with some of the gentlemen at Jamestown, and these would have been their personal arms. So that is also extremely important to understand, that some of these individuals that are here at Jamestown in the first few years are outfitting themselves, and they're bringing their own firearms and their own status symbols with them, such as this Roman lock. Now, what makes this a Roman lock? It has the telltale sign, which is a mainspring, which you can see here, and the hook that's on the front side of the cock, not passing behind it. And so that's what is pulling the cock forward. And it has the incorporated frizzen and pan cover into the same piece. That's another clue that it is positively identified as a Roman lock. That is very unique. It's also very early for an example like this. The earliest dated example I can find is 1591, and most of these are not in regular circulation until the 1620s and 30s, and they never get tremendous popularity. So this is a kind of a rare find. Also, this is a simplified version of a snap lock. So this is an advancement above the snap haunts. With this Roman lock, it incorporates both the pan cover and the frizzen in the same piece. So the pan cover, when it is hit by the cock and creates the spark, it's thrown forward, thus exposing the powder. So that is an advancement upon the snap-ons. Now, that doesn't mean that both don't work equally well. It's just simplified. And when you're talking about production of firearms, the simpler it is, the simpler it will be to produce, and the less expensive it will be. So these advancements in firearms, you're not finding them as you would today in the military, and then somehow that way trickles down into the civilian firearms. It's the opposite. The advancements are happening with the dollars that these gentlemen are spending on the firearms or their personal possessions that then eventually would make it into the military. So that is one very unique characteristic. We know that we do have a Roman lock pistol. It's one of the earliest known Roman lock pistols known, and we have it from a very tight dated context. So for us, for parallels, we're going to have to go back to dated surviving examples, and most of those are in Italy. So we're still researching that because overall, the gun does not have all of the characteristics of an Italian pistol. So that's something that I'm researching right now, and there'll be more to come on that. Now, some other things that I can show you of interest in this gun. So with the stock, we worked with Chris Swan over at Colonial Williamsburg, and we were able to identify this as being a fruitwood stock and most likely cherry. We also have what would be called a hogsback barrel, and so you can see that there's a ridge along the top of the barrel, and it goes from an octagon shape. Not underneath, it's rounded. Why would you go ahead through all the effort to make it octagon underneath? You just round it. But you see 5 sides that have been flattened, and then a transition to that hogsback. We also know it's 57 caliber barrel, which is interesting. So this is cast copper alloy. It has an iron breech plug. It also has a very unique shaped fishtail stock. It also has a acorn shaped trigger. It does not have a trigger guard, and it doesn't have a belt hook. Although I would, if I had to guess, it probably most likely started its life with a belt hook. Now, another amazing story about this artifact is that it was found loaded at the bottom of this well. And we were able to excavate out the 2 pistol balls, about 41, 42 caliber. And then also we excavated out the gunpowder that was behind the pistol balls. So it was definitely loaded, and we saw that from x-rays when we first took this to be x-rayed in 2006 or 7. So we have very many clues. The research is continuing. One thing that is undeniable is that it is a very high status item, which would have belonged to a very high status individual that was here within James Fort just after Delaware's arrival, when this well was dug and then no longer in use by the time the governor's house goes in. We might never know exactly who this belonged to, but we know the caliber of the individual that it did belong to. Very unique and exciting find, and now it's part of our Gentleman Soldiers exhibit in the Archaearium Museum.